The Kansas City Chiefs win against the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-20 in Arrowhead during the AFC Divisional round. This was a very uneventful game, not much to talk about, nothing really happened new, nothing important for next week. Obviously, I'm just joking. First off, let's just talk about the player that I'm wearing right here, Patrick Mahomes, my Patrick Mahomes jersey. So obviously he goes down. What I initially thought was a dirty hit by Arden Key. It was always just like unlucky. He rolled up on him. It happens sometimes. Usually Mahomes, you see that sometimes happen to Mahomes. It doesn't usually result in an injury like this, but he seems to have a high ankle sprain. I saw somewhere on Twitter that might be like he tore some ligaments or he sprained some ligaments. The x-rays that he did come back negative. I think that means there are no tears or bone breaks. So that's good news at least. But a high ankle sprain is hard to deal with mobility-wise, especially for a quarterback. But Patrick Mahomes is definitely going to play next week. We don't know at what capacity. It might be similar to what he did in the second half of this game. But also at the same time, I've been seeing that high ankle sprains can get worse over time, at least for the next week, because he might have been having adrenaline and painkillers and all the tape that helped him get through this game. Next week, he'll be off. It'll be a week of rest, but also a week for the ankle injury to like fully set in. He won't have the same adrenaline. I think he's definitely going to be able to play. He will definitely play. No way they're going to keep him out of this game. But it's going to be interesting to see how limited he is in that game, if he can do what he did in this game. And they definitely should not put him under center in that game. If you saw how being under center worked today, let's talk about the offense. So a lot of things went well. But just getting back to being under center, Patrick Mahomes could not get out for the edge runs. He could not hand the ball off well. They could not set up any play action. So just basically, if he got under center, the Jaguars knew it was going to be a stretch run or it was going to be some sort of dive, and Mahomes wasn't able to get to that, hand off the ball quick enough most of the time. So those runs got stopped for pretty short yards. So something like that can happen next week. Just keep him operating in the shotgun at all times. He actually played really well today. Very gutsy, electric performance that he put up. 2 touchdowns, over 200 yards, I think, or a little bit less than 200 yards because he didn't play a couple of drives there. So we do know like he can do it. We don't want to put too much stress on him. Hopefully, they can come up with a game plan next week that will be able to fit this injury, be able to see some success with that. And then just talking about overall the offense today, Travis Kelce had a day, 2 touchdowns, 14 catches, not too many yards. Like we've heard about on his podcast, that stat line from the Raiders for 27 yards and 4 touchdowns. He loves bringing that up as the most ball stat line of all time. You might be hearing something similar in this podcast, but he got the win. He got his first 2 touchdowns, one from Chad Henne, one from Patrick Mahomes. Really quick, let's just talk about that Chad Henne drive. Amazing play calling by Andy Reid. Mixed run and pass well. That little speed out that Kadarius Toney ran along with Chad Henne. Exactly the same play that they used with Tyreek Hill 2 years ago to beat the Browns, or to steal the victory against the Browns. It was very good callback to see that. Something Chad Henne did well. I think they know he's comfortable with that, so they just implemented that on that one third down there. He got a little help with the roughing the passer call, but then a huge run by Pacheco set up that Travis Kelce touchdown pass. It was just a very methodical drive, 98 yards, 6 minutes off the clock. It was exactly what the Chiefs needed right when there were a lot of worries about what was going to happen to Patrick Mahomes. You don't know if he's going to come back into the game. It just gave the Chiefs fans a little relaxation for a second there. And other than that, other than Travis Kelce having a lot of catches, I know Kadarius Toney had some targets. Juju Smith-Schuster had some clutch catches. MVS obviously had his targets, got the touchdown. Still not playing as good as we hoped, but that's okay. We can't really be expecting that much from him from now on. Sky Moore, they keep trying to use that wheel route with him. It's not working. He got a handoff. He got hit stick, but at least he held onto the ball. So we may not see as much Sky Moore the rest of the playoffs. They kind of went away from him after early in the game when they had to start making plays. So we'll see if that happens less in the playoffs, less gadget stuff. But the crossing routes working today. The Jaguars could not guard the middle of the field well. So Travis Kelce feasted. Mahomes made some clutch passes. The run game was working well. Pacheco played really well. So overall, given the circumstances, it was a good day from the offense. There was those 2 punts in the third quarter where Mahomes was just coming back in, had to get acclimated. After that, they got a field goal, got a touchdown, able to seal the game. after that with some defense we'll talk about right now. But just overall, the offense saw a big scare in this game, was able to overcome it mostly, get the job done, score enough points to be able to put the Jacksonville Jaguars away pretty comfortably by the end. Then talking about the Chiefs defense, which really helped the Chiefs offense out when they needed it. Those couple sacks, couple tackles for loss, ending some key drives for Jacksonville, giving the let's just talk about Tommy Townsend really quick and Harrison Butker. Harrison Butker hitting all his kicks, 2 50-yard field goals, was perfect on the day. Exactly what we needed to see. Help the Chiefs win this game. Tommy Townsend, he's flipping fields with his punts. It's perfect. Just special teams, other than like the few kickoff returns. I don't know why Dave Towe likes kicking it short with Harrison and Butker. Just kick it out of the end zone every time. There's no need to try for like 5 yards or less when it could go for like another 30 yards on the return. So just other than some of those returns, the Chiefs special teams played really well today. It's very encouraging to see for the rest of the playoffs. But then the Chiefs defense really stepped up today. So the Chiefs offense obviously had no turnovers, no interceptions, no fumbles. The Chiefs defense forcing 2 turnovers, at least 1 interception, couple should have been interceptions, and then like one lucky fumble recovery. So just like getting +2 in the turnover margin really helped. Turnover margin really helped the Chiefs in this game. They were able to pull it off, even like with their offense struggling at times with Mahomes losing his mobility, being very one-dimensional for a bit there. The Chiefs defense really stepped it up. They allowed 1 touchdown on a short field, only 1 real touchdown drive and a field goal. They got that fumble at the 3 or 4 yard line from Jamal Agnew. A little bit lucky, but then obviously we have that Jalen Watson interception, which was just perfect one-hand catch. It was amazing. Juan Thornhill could have had a couple other interceptions. He was tested there. I think Trevor Lawrence tried to test him down the sideline at times, or he was at least forced to test him. And Juan Thornhill made some good plays. Maybe should have came down with that one that he had in his hand and batted down. But other than that, like the Chiefs secondary, Chiefs defense played well today. Nick Bolton has been getting picked on a little bit. I know Chiefs fans love him, obviously, everything like that. But he's not really making the tackles he needs to. He's getting there, but like he can't wrap up. He can't seem to get even Trevor Lawrence down today. He wasn't able to get him down. So the Chiefs linebackers obviously they're gonna be a little bit here or there. So let's just talk about the Chiefs pass rush. Frank Clark coming back from injury. Before the game, he promised us that he was going to see some things. We're going to see maybe playoff Frank from 2 or 3 years ago, getting all those sacks. So it was nice to see him get his sack in this game, get that tackle for loss. It was good to see Frank get that juice back, playing at his best right into the playoffs. Obviously, Derek Nottie gets a sack, which is really unexpected. A couple pressures forced that interception. Chris Jones, obviously, everyone's talking about him right now because he still doesn't have his first postseason sack. But what everyone doesn't really see is that how he gets doubled and triple team on every play, which means Derek Nottie can get that free rush, get a sack. Colin Saunders can get that free rush. Other players can get this free rush because Chris Jones is eating up double teams, triple teams, and he will get a sack. I think it will happen in his postseason run. If they don't win this game, it might not happen, but we'll see about that. I think it does end up happening. Another thing I'd like to address, George Karlaftis today. He didn't get a sack. He's lost his streak from the past couple games, but just like he's been seeming quicker. I don't know. He's still kind of getting flushed out of the pocket, taken out of the play, but he seems much quicker off the edge. If he could use his bend, I know he doesn't have as much bend, but if he could use the bend he does have to get around that tackle, for some pressures on the inside, right into Chris Jones' lap, it would be really helpful for the rest of this run. And then just generally just talking about the Chiefs next week. Hopefully Mahomes is better, maybe not better, but at least operating at a good capacity. If you remember that game from 2 years ago, that AFC Championship game against the Bills, he had turf toe in that game. It sounds much worse than it actually. It is much worse than it actually sounds. It's like a torn plate in his foot, and he played through it. They were able to get it done in that game. Very little pocket mobility, not pocket mobility, like moving the pocket with Mahomes. He just stand in the pocket, delivered. I don't know how much of that he'll be able to do next week. He might have to rely on his mobility a little bit more, but hopefully the Chiefs game plan can cover that. Chiefs defense, either against the Bills or Bengals, they need to be able to get home. These offensive lines can be taken advantage of, much like today how the Chiefs got home, caused some pressures. Trevor Lawrence really struggled against that blitz. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow won't struggle that much, but either way, we need to get pressure next week. But the thing is that we saw that one thing I wanted to talk about too was The Chiefs defense, Doug Peterson had a great game plan for them. He knew the Chiefs were going to blitz. He kept testing the outside, throwing screens. Eventually caught up to them. L'Jarius Sneed making some great plays. Frank Clark, Willie Gay making these great plays. So if they do end up blitzing next week against whatever team, it'll be a similar game plan from the opponent. They'll try to get the ball out quick. And they have the weapons to be able to do that. So it is something to watch as the Chiefs play next week in their 5th straight AFC Championship game. And while I'm watching this, the Eagles are playing. I think they're beating the Giants pretty heftily as I'm recording this. Next week, I do think, like I said, I think the Bills win and the Niners win. So hopefully we'll have that AFC Championship. Oh, not hopefully. Either way, we'll have the AFC Championship game, but it might be in Atlanta against the Bills or it might be in Arrowhead against the Bengals. So see you guys next week for the preview edition of the AFC Championship game.